Hello and welcome to the Bell Dragon podcast. I'm your host HC, and with me are.
Rush 2112.
And Wolf.
And like we said, this is pretty much a two-parter and a continuation to the previous episode about the Bewilderbeast, because now we are talking about something that I thought we could probably squeeze into the last episode, but meh. Let's just talk about it like this because we could probably get a bit of a discussion around it. So let's talk about the Bewilderbeast connection with the crazy vigilante dragon lady, Valka. So I guess the first thing, let's not cut around the bush. Do you think the Bewilderbeast that we see in How to Train Dragon 2 was there all along, or did it came from the egg in Race to the Edge? Like it's heavily implied that.
All along.
Okay, care to explain?
I could.
But you're
Yeah.
not going to.
I figured I'd give other people a chance to go first if they wanted to.
Okay, you know what? Rush, what do you think?
I think you're all insane. No. If I had to give my honest opinion, I do not think that it is the egg from Race to the Edge.
Mm-hmm. So you're pretty much what Wolf's saying. It was the Bewilderbeast in How to Train Dragon 2 was there all along.
Yep.
Okay, I'll say this. I'm not going to agree with you two because that's what I do sometimes. However, and it's a big however, I'm not saying that I'm not necessarily saying that. Actually, you know what? I am saying this. I'll say it came from the egg, but maybe it maybe came from the egg. Maybe it was there all along. But there's also a chance that maybe it's not the only Bewilderbeast she ever came across and was a part of that nest.
Wow, so HC pretty much wants to have plausible deniability on the case that somebody says he's wrong because he said, no, I said maybe. I didn't say definitively. Just like my fiance.
Actually,
I'm always technically right.
okay, Rush. Honestly, I would say that you're right, but it was most likely that I tend to overthink this kind of stuff. So I ended up just saying everything's kind of there are a few ways you can look at this, and we'll probably get all of them in here somehow, but.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I'm trying to be the right one here. It has nothing to do with this. No one's really right unless the creators come out and say this is how it's supposed to happen. So I'm just saying there are a few ways to look at this. But moving on. The Wolf.
I do know they would agree with me.
Sure. I'm glad to know you. You know this. The question is, do they know it?
They do.
They do now.
It's just it's a wavelength. We've just connected. We just know.
Wolf saying that the agree with you does not make it does not excuse the fact that you are using mind control, and I know you do.
It's not mind control. Remember.
That's the joke.
No.
That's the joke. It was a reference to the previous episode.
Yes, but I was also
moving
referencing
on.
the previous episode.
Moving on. Moving on. Though, you two said that you think the Bewilderbeast was there all along. So, okay, then what do you think what do you think the egg is for?
Well, to
A
go
very, very big omelet.
back to Damn you!
Yeah, I had to get there first. I had to.
Damn
get
you!
there first. Is that what you?
Okay, can
That was
someone?
the same exact joke.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Same exact joke. I was
So you
gonna
know
say
what?
she ate it because she wanted the Bewilderbeast powers, and you stole it from me.
Well, hey, this isn't My Hero Academia, all right? But so you can take. I didn't even go down that route. You can go down that route if you want to for the powers.
I mean, I didn't say it worked for her. I just said she wanted it to.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But to go back to the first question a little bit, the reason I say the Bewilderbeast, right, was there, that Valka's Bewilderbeast was there all along, is mostly just down due to a line that Drago says in the second movie, that being, when he essentially says, "This time I've brought a challenger."
He says it's a good thing I brought.
Well, to me though, that line says he's seen Valka before, he's seen Valka's Bewilderbeast before, and that's why he went off to look for a Bewilderbeast in, before the second movie, and I guess during Race to the Edge, that's why he was looking.
Yeah.
So to me, it says, okay, the egg isn't Valka's Bewilderbeast because she already had that one from the very beginning. That's why Drago went off looking for his.
Mm-hmm.
So
there's
my opinion as to why it was there all along.
Okay.
Super crazy real life theory right now. That probably somebody has thought of. But so remember how, and I know, sorry, this is way off topic, but I kind of have to get your opinions on it. Remember how at the end of the second movie, we had our, the vague idea for the third movie that Dean had even told us was that we were going to see where Drago got the Bewilderbeast from and how he raised it from an egg.
Yeah.
So what if they knew, the Race to the Edge team knew? I mean, they actually probably did because Dean told them. So they knew what was going to happen or how it was not going to happen at the end of season 6 before anybody else did. So that was actually kind of a spoiler before we even got the spoilers, if you think about it. Because now we know that Drago's completely dropped from the story. Well mostly
dropped.
Yeah. We know. So basically they had to cover that base with it, and they had to give up the complete idea of him raising it from an egg, which I think, so that's kind of a weird thing that we didn't realize before it even happened. Anyway, what do I think she did with it? Well, she's your typical crazy dragon lady, right? So I find, and in most fan fiction alternate universes, she is some form of animal person, like sanctuary person, and so that's what I think she does. She's put it in a place where it could be raised safely, and then get promptly destroyed by Drago. Anyway, no.
I personally think that safe place was the nest, and no one's there anymore, so they just left it sitting there, all by itself.
Yeah, when we see
the end of How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World,
as usual,
it's like the end of How to Train Your Dragon Hidden World. It zooms in on her face, like, I've made a terrible mistake, and she just leaves.
Either that, or my preferred, what she did with it is eat it.
Okay. So just to keep the train rolling, I guess. I will say that even if it's, the Bewilderbeast had to be there when Valka got there, right? Because when you think about it, when she says in the second movie, like when Hiccup asks her how she survived, she says, "Oh, Cloudjumper never meant to harm me. He just thought that I belong here in the, in the net of the Great Bewilderbeast." So when she got there 20 years ago, there had to be a Bewilderbeast there in order for her to understand and study the entire thing and understand that this is the quote-unquote king of all dragons. So there has to be a Bewilderbeast there. And also notice that the armor she wears, her fighting armor, if you will, that's a lot of people brought up, it looks like a Bewilderbeast's head. In the color and the shape of the mask and everything, even the two tusks. So, unless it's a really big coincidence, she had to base that armor on something.
I mean, again, it just proves how much she wanted to be a Bewilderbeast. That's why she ate the Bewilderbeast egg, trying to get its powers, hoping
Yeah.
that that would be the case.
Clearly.
It's just continually proving how mad she actually is.
You know something in the rest of the Edge says that Atali and the Wind Maidens knew someone who knew someone who would keep a very good eye on the egg. Yeah, that. Can you imagine, like, if she ate the egg, like Atali is like, "Ooh, that was a mistake."
I mean, they wouldn't know. They
Well,
just said they knew someone who knew
and they
someone,
just
so
left
obviously
it
they
out
didn't
in the
know him
middle of
very
the
well.
night for that someone of a someone to pick it up. What if she got there first?
This is true. What if,
Yeah, you
what if
know,
the egg wasn't
good
meant
point.
for Valka?
They
Good
were
point.
giving it to Drago all along. Yeah, we know somebody who knows somebody, and then the music just turns dark.
All right. You know something? The Krogan, maybe they attempted to give it to back to Krogan,
Yeah.
but Drago killed them already. So, oops. Okay, so this is my thoughts about if a Bewilderbeast had to be there. However, this is the point where I'm going to defend Race to the Edge and say, if you want to get technical, if a Bewilderbeast was there all along in regards to Valka's nest, then why did she wait until, let's say, a day or so before How to Train Dragon 2, before Hiccup and Astrid found its base? Why did she wait so long in order to use the Bewilderbeast in order to attack that base? If you look at it like this, then it makes sense that the Bewilderbeast came from an egg, because now she has that power. Now she has the dragon that she knows can save all the dragons from that base and leave it in ruins. Yeah, it's a far, and now comes the second part of my theory. There was another Bewilderbeast before this one in Valka's nest, but maybe he did something we don't know. Something happened off screen. Again, this is all speculation.
He became the Vanaheim skeleton.
Not necessarily, but could be.
Or Valka killed him trying to take his powers.
Yeah, let's go. That's let's go with this. But the point,
power.
yeah,
Hey, she used to be the villain, is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and you
There was
know
the
what?
plan at one point that she was the villain. Remember that, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
They never
Remember
abandoned that plan.
I'm one. She could break Thor's hammer. Wait, no, one character, same actress.
I got that. That was good.
Yes. Rush left at a joke of mine. That's
I'll
let's
give
write
credit
this
where
down.
credit is due, HC. That was a great
Okay.
joke, Wolf.
But anyway, back to
Thank you.
say, if Valka had a Bewilderbeast all along, why did she wait so long to attack a quote unquote hunter's base? Because she knows Drago had all hunters and trappers working for him. So why did she wait so long? Because she needed to the Bewilderbeast to grow up and actually be capable of doing something like this. So again, like I said, it can go both ways. But what do you think?
For me, I think it wasn't that fact of waiting so long. I think it was just, potential knowledge or not knowing about them in the area until like their say they had a bunch of dragons who didn't come back. It's like, okay, well, we need to investigate. So she investigates, finds the base, and because if you think about it, we see Eret continually, like, we know he gives dragons to Drago, right? And then he sails a lot, and he said last time I didn't bring him back, he got me this. And so what if they had just set up the base and started trapping dragons there? That's another theory, right?
Yeah, for this one, it is worth remembering, right, that we do have those deleted scenes, like in kind of storybook form, that show her attacking the nest and breaking into attacking this stronghold and breaking into it. And I think it's very much before Eret may not have had a stronghold like this set up,
Mm-hmm.
and he does talk about getting attacked before this by a dragon rider. So it's very possible, right, that he was not this set up in this region before, right? And so he was just sailing ships back and forth, and Valka would occasionally attack them because they were easy to attack, because a lone ship or two, not that hard to deal with for a dragon, right? But a floating fortress like that, much more difficult to deal with a singular dragon, right? And that's probably why the floating fortress was set up. And the second Valka saw this and noticed it, she figured going to need to bring out the bigger guns for this one, right? So obviously
Omelette powers help
attack
me
it with the
now.
Bewilderbeast. Yes, Omelette powers help me now. A great new name for the Bewilderbeast. His name is Omelette. Tough Nut would be proud.
Oh man.
Okay.
Tough Nut would love him.
Yeah. So the Bewilderbeast is
You're welcome.
Chicken's son. The Bewilderbeast is Chicken's son, confirmed. Okay. Actually,
Chicken would adopt him, and Chicken would adopt the Bewilderbeast and raise him proudly.
That's who Atalia was leaving the egg for.
Chicken.
How did Valka's a horrible person for stealing that from Chicken.
Mm-hmm. I told you.
Oh man. What did I have to say? Okay, so we all said what we think about this. So in case you say that the Bewilderbeast didn't come from the egg, which is pretty much 80% of us, what do you think Valka did with it? And I just want to say, I would laugh so hard if in season 5 of Rest of the Edge that suddenly everyone remembered that the Dragon Islands on her belt, and everyone were just like, I can't believe we didn't see that before. We're like, and how didn't we see this before? I would laugh so hard if in the Hidden World, like Valka all of a sudden remembers that she has that egg and it hatches, and it's like, I can't believe I forgot about that.
Especially if it's attached to her belt.
Yeah.
Go back to the second movie and it was there the whole time.
I feel like you're stealing an earlier joke here, HC. You're retreading old ground. My joke. Back off.
That's
why I had to steal the omelet one first.
If I did steal it, then if I did steal it, I don't remember. So sorry about that. I completely missed that.
Ladies and gentlemen.
We have audio evidence.
Yeah. Well, Rush, you're just as guilty as I am.
I didn't steal it. I said it before him. Ergo, I have all property rights to this. Yet I do not care as much as Wolf does.
Excuses.
Because I'm happy that I got a prediction somewhat right, or I was the most right out of all of us for something.
Yeah. Before the started, we did realize that Rush was right about something.
Don't acknowledge that. Don't give him that. No.
Now we have audio evidence of that too.
I didn't say what it was. So suck it. Anyway.
Yikes.
Back on topic.
Back on top. I'll probably just say she kept it around. Maybe one day it will be useful if the Bewilderbeast in the second movie didn't come from the egg. So it's just there. But the question is, it's still there in the nest now that Valka's back on Earth. Okay, you guys know. What do you think?
I mean, kind of went over this already, right? Like,
yeah.
To a degree, I don't know exactly what she would have done with the egg. My assumption is, right, that she still has it somewhere, right? That it's somewhere safe, that it's somewhere being taken care of. Where that would be, maybe it's back on Berk with her, maybe it's still in the nest being looked after, and she left it there. Oh, and maybe you could argue that Drago managed to steal the egg from her, or that she never actually managed to get the egg completely, and that it was stolen from her by someone who works for Drago, and that's how he got his Bewilderbeast. That probably would be the easiest explanation as to, like, if you want to. Yeah,
Yeah, it should
yeah.
also
Okay.
be noted that, and I always remember things that I never have, I never can remember where I found them to back them up, but I'm pretty sure there was somewhere that said that Drago's Bewilderbeast was younger than Valka's.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So,
Well, but again, this is again something that we brought us up in the show on this podcast before. Uh, how much does this outside information count when it comes to the writers of Race to the Edge developing this idea? Because we can say whatever we want. I think the implication that the writers had was that the Bewilderbeast in How to Train Dragon 2 came from that egg because
I I don't
because
think so.
we'll just CC
well,
John Tellegen then at the end of the episode.
yeah, but because think about this, though. Why have a bewildered egg there and specifically let Valk find it? You know,
Because they
Eh,
said that they have somebody that would take it, and they wanted to close it off by having a familiar face with a what's that? A
yeah, but at the same,
cameo at the
Nostalgia, is
end.
that the word you're looking for?
Cameo.
Yeah, or cameo.
Cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
yeah, but at the same time we have Drago King, so might as well just give the egg to him, and that's
I
it.
mean, right? Like, in my opinion, the dialogue they use in the show is vague enough that you can kind of say what you want about it, and I feel like they do that on purpose to leave themselves that out to say, well, that's not exactly what it means. You took it the wrong way because Tali says we know someone who knows someone. Maybe Valka isn't the person that, you know, maybe Valka isn't the someone at the very end. Maybe Valka's the someone that Atali and the Dragon Maidens know, and Valka knows someone else who can take care of it and watch after it
Mm.
that she trusts.
Yeah, but
And
but again, you need to keep in mind this is us overanalyzing this stuff. When you first saw this, face value, no theories, no analysis. This is what you get. This what
I
I'm
was
willing to bet the
so shit faced at the time that I could not give a damn. If we remember, I
not
did the
counting
drinking game
Rush.
with
well
Twigman,
you
and that was
yeah you went
awesome.
Twig out because you were drunk.
Yeah.
Um,
Rush probably thought a lot of things at that point in time. None of them
Let's just
correct.
put it this way: after at the 10th episode, that's when I get I think my 7th beer, and I was so far gone at that point that like it was all just a blur. I had to rewatch the episode that morning before we did the Berkcast because of this.
yeah. I can just imagine like seeing this scene and like, why did the Bewilderbeast kidnap its own egg?
Very possible.
Hmm.
Oh, cool! It's Valka, twin sister or something. Okay, but so again, not counting Twig who were drunk. Um, when you saw that scene firsthand, again, nothing to go with it, no overthinking, no nothing. This was the implication, and we talked about this in the review episode. I'm willing to bet this was the writer's intention. However, a lot of people did bring up, Dean said that the Dragon's Bewilderbeast came from an egg, so maybe it's that egg, so that doesn't add up. Like, you know, at the end of the day, if we have to look at a secondary media to get these answers, it's hard for me personally to count it. And the point is, what we saw is what we know in this franchise. So the writers pretty much had that intention. That's what I'm saying. I think.
And I see where you're coming from to get it right. And you're not inherently wrong, right? For me personally, I feel like the intention is more vague and it's designed in it by its nature and how they show it and what they do to be vague enough for you to say it's a possibility, but also this is a possibility as well. And I think you could definitely, if you've seen the second movie and you've seen the show, I think you could definitely say, at the very least, oh, hey, that's Valka. Maybe Valka's taking the egg to someone else. you could definitely say, hey, I know the movie, I know some of the stuff that's said in the movie. I don't feel this is Volka's Bewilderbeast specifically, but maybe she does have the egg at the very least, right? But I don't think you can safely say with zero doubt the writers intended for you to take this as this egg is Volka's Bewilderbeast in the second movie. It's very possible, but I don't think it's the only possibility you could get from that
Oh
scene.
no,
Yeah,
oh,
it
it's not
was
the
left
only
up.
possibility.
And that's just from keeping in the second movie and the show in mind, nothing else, right?
Cameos
Taking just
aside,
those two things in mind.
yeah, I think they really. I mean, this is. It does tend to give itself to, the first impression people might get is that it does become Valka's Bewilderbeast, but I think they left it pretty open ended in that sense. More for like the cameo. That's when, like, that's where I think the cameo comes in because, um, it is. Sorry, it's just a thing that they threw in at the end. It's like, hey, we have this Bewilderbeast egg. What do we do with it? It's like, hey, you know what? Let's just throw it to Valka, so she can eat it. But
Agreed.
I know about this show.
no, but I think it's more of a, you know, we have the Bewilderbeast egg. What do we need to do with it? We give it to Valka for a cameo, and then it's like, oh, Valka has a Bewilderbeast in the second movie. Let's just give it to her. And it's not like, let's have it become her Bewilderbeast. It's not, oh, let's have her take care of it. It's, let's just give it to her because she has a Bewilderbeast in the second movie, so she would know what to do with it. I feel like that's the kind of the way they went. And then whatever way you interpret it, like I said, open-ended in that point.
Okay, fair enough. So we that if the Bewilderbeast didn't come from that egg, then Valka just has that key, and maybe it was stolen from her screen, or maybe she managed to protect it before Drago broke your nest and they left for Berk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, fair enough. So the next stop is the next stop we have here. The next thing we have here is, in case we say it did come from the egg, do you think there's a chance she heard about the Bewilder before then? I think yes. Like again, forget the theory I had from before about the entire. There was one before there was one before the egg, and then there was one from the egg. She at least have to have to be at one point, right? Because you know she wouldn't take responsibility if she didn't know what it is. I think, and also again, it's kind of heavily that she knew a Bewilderbeast because she did say Clown Jumper thought she belonged with one of them. So
Yeah,
that's
I definitely say she knew it existed before ever being given the egg in any capacity. She knew what a Bewilderbeast was, and I mean, even in Race to the Edge, you already see her armor looks like you see her wearing her armor. You can even say then, well, how would she make the armor if she never knew what a Bewilderbeast was before finding the egg?
again, like I said, if she didn't know the Bewilderbeast before she made the armor, that's one hell of a coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see here. I guess okay, so Rush may have to leave, so it's just you and me, Wolf.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add regarding, anything regarding this specific question, or can we move on to the next one?
Not really. I mean, yeah, I think you nailed it pretty well. I think like I said, like I just got through saying, I think she knew of the Bewilderbeast before, being given the egg in any capacity. Whatever you think the egg, whether you think the egg is her Bewilderbeast specifically, or you think it's another Bewilderbeast that's just out there maybe, or still in the egg, or what have you, I think she definitely knew about it before being given it, and knew what a Bewilderbeast was and everything like that.
Okay. So one last question is, so we see Valka controlling her with her staff multiple times. And we talked about it last time that the entire thing with the Bewilderbeast has something to do with sound, and it responds to the sounds that the staff makes when she uses it. So do you think she may be able to control other Bewilderbeasts with her staff?
I think it's very possible, right? But I think specifically she trained with that Bewilderbeast, and I think it's her form of communicating with that specific Bewilderbeast. I don't think it would work on any other Bewilderbeast unless she had been with it for quite a while. So I think again, it works with that specific Bewilderbeast, and I think it's her way of communicating with him and giving him directions without having to yell at him.
Because yeah, and that's the point I want to bring up, that when we see Drago controlling his own Bewilderbeast, he has a staff as well, but whenever he uses that staff, it's not just the staff, he also has his screaming. And you can also see so that's how he trained his Bewilderbeast to walk. But when we see Valka, like there's a point in the big battle at the nest where Stoic asks Valka if she can stop them, and she says, "I'll do my best." And she does stand in front of the two Bewilderbeasts, and she tries to use the staff, but and notice that to her Bewilderbeast, she just puts her hand out, and the other. So I assume that the other one knows her so well that he will just respond to her hand, but the other one she tries to control with the staff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very much. It's similar to in the second movie when we see Hiccup using Inferno, right? That's his way of communicating with other dragons, right? That's a way he's found to communicate with other dragons, that he is not a threat, that he is friendly.
He's one of them.
Mm-hmm. Right, so I think it's just her way of communicating with with her Bewilderbeast, and with other dragons as well that are familiar with her. That's how she communicates with them.
Mm-hmm.
And is able to direct them.
Okay, fair enough. Let me see here. Anything else to add to this? Because I think we pretty much went over everything.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think there's any more I can add.
So the point
Unless
of
you want to bring up the Bewilderbeast.
So I think the point
of
the
Island.
Yeah, we pretty much talked about him last time.
He had an honorable mention. That's about all he got, because that's about all we know. But
yeah, but we mentioned them. The point of the matter is, when in this topical conversation, we don't know how much this Bewilderbeast has anything to do with Valka. Like if she even knew about him, so it doesn't really go anywhere. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
But the one thing I think I can say, and the one takeaway all the listeners should have from this episode, is that Valka ADA. Thank you and good night.
No, there's a second takeaway.
Okay.
Valka's Bewilderbeast's name is Omlette.
And he is the chicken's son.
That one's debatable, but definitely an Omlette. We have to make that one, like, that has to be, that's canon now. His name is Omlette. Yeah. Get on it, fandom. This is your mission now.
No,
make
man.
Dean accepted. We will make Dean accepted. That is our goal now.
Yeah, that was the main point of the Berkcast all along. Dean the blood to make the Bewilderbeast's name Omlette. And on that, and that's been all for this episode of the Berkcast. We hope you enjoyed. What do you think about Valka's relationship with the Bewilderbeast? Do you think the egg is the dragon we see in How to Train Dragon 2? Is it not? Do you think the Bewilderbeast is Omlette. Let us know all about this on our Tumblr page, Berkcast Team, on Twitter, where we are Berkcast Team. You can obviously do this in the comment section below, and you can find all of us on the How to Train Dragon Valhalla server, Discord server. So until next time, I was HC.
Rush has been muted. And
I was Rush.
Wolf.
Okay, that was Rush. He was him. And we'll talk to you all next time for a very special episode, if I may tease it. Take care.
Bye-bye.